The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, morrismedialive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
When I am dead, wrap the mantle of the red, the black, and the green around me, for in the new life I shall rise up with God's grace and blessing to lead the millions up the heights and the triumph that you well know. Look for me in a world when there is storm. Look for me all around you, for with God's grace I shall come back with countless millions of black men and women who have died in America, those who have died in the West Indies, and those who have died in Africa to aid you in the fight for liberty, freedom, and life. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. Can we do it? We can do it. We shall do it. We have prayed to God for vision and for leadership.
5%. Gods and earth, Christians, Muslims, Moors, Israelites, atheists. I'm Eric Clark, and thank you so much for tuning in to Melanated Politics.
And I'm David Harper. Thank you on this new year to be here on Melanated Politics. Thank you to Morris Media. Happy New Year.
If you're feeling some type of way, go ahead and call in at area code 323-815-4204. As always, we feel so good, and we just pay so much honor to our brothers and sisters who we are lucky enough to be tuning in right now, where we can make us a spiritual connection as we speak. And thank you so much for tuning in. And before we get this party started right, I need to ask my dear brother, Mr. Harper, how have you been? How's everything? Before we proceed to rock the mic right.
Man, you know, with that energy.
Melanated.
With that energy, I'm feeling good. Feeling good, feeling great. And this show starting today, this is an eventful show, our first show of the new year, a very important show, because on this day, for all of our viewers, history is being made right now. History was made yesterday, last night, this morning. But right now, history is being made, and I think Eric will tell you a little bit about it.
Absolutely. History has been made. In the House, the House of Representatives, the Senate, the executive branch, they have been in cahoots. They all been working together. The difference between now and in the past is the Democrats have now taken control of all three branches of government. Let me stand up on this one. The executive branch.
Executive branch.
The House. And the Senate. Mitch McConnell.
Yes.
That's making the grass.
Yes.
Confederate Mitch.
Yes.
He can go home. My brother LeBron James, and I do got on some blinds right now, you understand me.
He's telling the truth.
He's already offered to go ahead and purchase Atlanta Dream from that snake in the grass.
Kelly Loeffler, your girl. That's his girl. Just y'all didn't know Kelly Loeffler.
That's my girl.
That's his girl.
So we'll be talking about the Senate races. With Kelly Loeffler. She's nothing but a Nazi Barbie.
And Will Perdue.
He's another snake in the grass. So it's a lot on the table, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. 5% gods and earths, Christian, Muslims, Moors, Israelites, atheists, melanated brothers and sisters all over the 7 continents.
I have to make a correction. His name is David Perdue. Will Perdue is the basketball player that played with Jordan. I'm sorry, I got my Perdue's mixed. Will, I'm sorry, you're not David. Forgive us. I'm sorry.
I don't like to be corrected.
I know. I had to correct you.
Thank you, brother.
Anytime.
Moving right along, I'm pretty sure everyone that saw at this particular juncture that has been an outrage with respect to the November 2020 elections. Obviously, President-elect Joseph Biden,
Joe Biden,
has won the popular vote
and the Electoral College. He won the 2 places he needed to win, really the 1 place, the Electoral College. But what we're seeing right now is an uproar being fueled by Donald Trump and his supporters. Basically, they've stormed the Capitol. We're going to show you this. We're going to talk about this a bit. There's a bunch of things in the new year we're going to talk about, but this is breaking news today because the Senate was going to ratify, basically certify the electoral votes to prove, to write in the history that Joe Biden was going to be our president. And basically what's happened is after a rally by President Trump, his son, all his folks, Giuliani was a part of it, exciting people basically to storm the Capitol. And that's what they did. So without further ado, DJ, can you drop that?
Let's drop that.
How did they come up with this number of 6 feet? I think they just pulled it out of their rear ends. Maybe it's 5. Maybe it's 3.5. Maybe it's 8. I don't know. But why 6?
Don't wake me. I'm dreaming. If I'm dreaming, man, just let me sleep. Don't wake me up till my dream is complete. Are you serious?
Okay, this got to be the first time on a news station where we're mixing Christopher Williams, New Jack Swing, New Jack City, and basically Trump supporters storming the Capitol. And those videos were of different Capitols.
This is current.
Well.
This
current.
This is real live time.
Basically,
yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Basically, ladies and gentlemen, what you're saying is the American parts of the American people that support Trump are truly backs against the wall.
Yes, sir.
Trapped in a corner with their guns and with their fury, ready to challenge our government. Donald Trump, for the longest time, has, described our government as the deep state, described this election as being a sham, only wanted to attack the results of the places where he lost.
And the media being in cahoots. What makes this dangerous for our country, for melanated people, just in general, and for people everywhere, but we're going to talk about Melanated in a second because he is the president that's been against melanated people. Yes, sir.
Whether it's S-hole countries, whether it's NFL players protesting.
Birtherism.
It started with Barack. I know a lot of people have a problem with Barack. Barack felt the first part of it.
There's my African American.
And there's my African American. So this should be no surprise. And right now we're in a fragile moment in history. And truth be told, it's been fragile for a long time. It's just been masked. Now the mask is off. The band, like what Eric often says, he says, let's rip the scab off. The scab is off and we bleeding. So we're about to see what's going to happen. Are we going to patch it? Are we going to heal it? We're going to see what happens. And that's where we are. So pay attention. We're going to continue to talk about this because this is going to be continual.
and we will get to the Senate because obviously it's very important. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the Senate right now, one of the reasons why, I mean, this is not debatable. One of the reasons why the representatives of the Democratic Party won their Senate races in the deep South, antebellum state of good old-fashioned Whistling Dixie, Georgia, is because they signed on those $2,000 checks just a little bit late. Now, obviously, for political reasons, they had to say when they were asked, oh, yes, I'll sign on for the $2,000 checks. I'll sign on for the extension of unemployment benefits. I'll sign on for the extension of those who may be in the process of getting kicked out of their homes, or those who have businesses like the sisters that we proud enough to, associate ourselves with.
Poetess and Sheena, love you.
But at the end of the day, whose country is this? Because cry me a river for the 70 million plus Trump supporters who can continue to complain they are the victims. This is their country. People are taking their jobs. The election is a scandal. Right now, as we just saw, melanated queens and kings and brothers and sisters and girls and boys and whomever else you tend to classify yourself as, we just saw, because you cannot unsee what you saw and you cannot unhear what you heard. Can we agree on that before we proceed to rock the mic right?
Gotta agree on that.
Okay, so the bottom line is this here. Whose country is this? There's so many people who ask, because we are so fortunate, brother, who have people who watch Melanated, the essence of color and the essence of everything that represents the universe and universal law. They always ask, what is it like in the U.S.? What is it like in America? Who established America? They turn on television, they turn on Fox News, they turn on CBS, they turn on ABC, they turn on MSNBC, and they hear about hard work. They hear about the GI Bill, et cetera, et cetera. Who established America as what they call now American exceptionalism? Whose defense budget is far more greater than the next 10, 20, 15, 30 countries. That's not an exaggeration. But moving right along, who is America? Who were the first inhabitants of America? Who worked hard to make sure that as the Republicans and those who believe in American exceptionalism, they always quote, America's the greatest country in the world. Who does America really belong to? I'll tell you what, DJ, let's let Eddie Griffith drop that track on America. Let's go.
They trying to tell our Mexican brothers and sisters that they need to stay away from the border. I don't understand that when California is Mexico. Listen to the name of it, California. San Diego, San Francisco, San Jose. If it starts with San, it's Mexican. Always talking about my country. White people, this ain't y'all country. Y'all annexed it. You stole it from the Indians. I know you said you discovered it. You know how to use them slick ass words. We discovered it. How you discover some shit a motherfucker already live at? Using that analogy, when I get off stage, I'm gonna discover somebody's car. Police like, did you steal it? No, I discovered it. I gave the indigenous driver a reservation in the trunk.
I think that's a perfect example Eddie displayed through comedy, of what's happening
Peace
right
Eddie
now.
Griffin.
Peace Eddie Griffin.
Kansas City. KC.
Kansas City, Missouri. Some of the best barbecue. If you haven't had it, it's some of the best.
Best comedians also.
Yes, indeed.
Real brothers.
Yes, indeed. But what we're witnessing in this era of Trumpism, and this era of uncomfortability for a lot of white folks of a certain ilk. I have to say that definitely white folks of a certain ilk. I said this before, the walls are closing in, and they're reacting to a reality that they don't want to see, that they don't want to be a part of. Trump is not you're going to hear a lot about Donald Trump being the cause of what we're seeing right now, the cause of this rioting, of this anxiety, of white folks that they call patriots, but what they really are domestic terrorists. You're hearing that Trump is the cause of this, and that's not true at all. Trump is just what lit something that was already there. He lit it, that it was already there, already existed. When anybody talks about America, when people that watch Melanated politics from overseas want to know about America, America, the ideals of America is everybody created equal in the freedoms that we share.
And you know what? To all my brothers in South Africa that are watching us right now, understand something about the United States about America. We've never had our reconciliation.
No, we haven't.
We've never had face-to-face, heart-to-heart, man to woman, woman to man meetings about the history, the positive, the negative. We've never shaken hands. We've never had hugs. The only thing we've had is pushback, negativity, white fragility, etc., etc. But I'll tell you one thing about these folks from the original Nile Valley. We don't need any friends. We are disciples from John Henrik Clark and Ivan Van Sertima, and Rudolph Windsor and Sheikh Anta Diop. We have been blessed enough to accept the bloodline that indoctrinates us to solve our own problems and to lift each other up and to hold each other's hands. But at the same time, when you live on the belly of the beast called America, we have to pay attention. You know, I tell my dear brother all the time, it's a blessing to meet you again, brother. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
A lot of these brothers and sisters, man, that we communicate in different media platforms, it's a lot they don't understand about America because they get their information from the media or social media. But one thing about America, we're not taught, we are programmed and conditioned. I'll say that again. We are not taught, we are programmed and conditioned. So most of the people outside the U.S. go off of stereotypes. That's why the Pan-Africanism of Moses, Marcus, Garvey, and me and this brother, Garveyites, don't get that twisted. Regardless of anything else. So, welcome to America. One of the reasons why Donald Trump is a snake in the grass, and we're going to talk about Trump's legacy, and we're also going to talk about how, and brother, please interject, how the Senate races in Georgia with Kelly Loeffler, with the Reverend Raphael Warnock, with John
Ossoff and David Perdue against
John Ossoff and
David Perdue.
How that is so important in the melanated communities, and how if the two major political parties in America, if one of them has control of all three branches, wrap it up like a Christmas present. And I don't celebrate Christmas. That's why I have to buy my son anything.
He's telling the truth about that. What we're
Let's talk about the Senate races, bro. Let's go there.
The Senate races.
How important it is, Mr. Harper? How will it affect melanated people? Let's just say, I don't mean to hog up the mic, brother.
No,
we have thousands of brothers and sisters that never even step foot in the United States of America that are watching us right now. How is the Senate race? How are these Senate races that are saturating news outlets, i.e., local, cable?
The reason why the Senate race, just to let everybody know, the Senate race in
How's it important?
In Georgia, the state of Georgia, is so important. You have to understand the true history of the United States, which is rooted in free market, which included slavery. We were part of that free market. Our ancestors,
Well, the original stocks and bonds,
and commodities
were enslaved.
Yes.
Original Africans.
Yes,
from
indeed.
Akibu Line, if we want to get all technical for everybody that, you know what I mean.
And in Georgia,
Akibu Line, go ahead, brother.
Georgia being part of the Deep South, being part of the South, it turning and voting for a black man and a Jewish man to represent their state.
Is it unprecedented?
It is unprecedented. It's historical in so many different ways. And I'm going to try to give all of you who aren't familiar with American politics the rundown of why this is so important, how it's so important. In 2008, when Barack Obama ran for president, he flipped the state of Virginia. Virginia was the first southern state to fall to a majority melanated
district.
Well, not just district, but Democrat Party is the power in the Democrat Party right now is with its melanated people.
Yes, sir.
And that relationship started in the 60s, and you're seeing the fruits of that labor happening starting in 2008 with Barack Obama in Virginia, and then again in 2012 in Virginia, 2016 Hillary won it, in 2020 Biden won Virginia, and then flipping Georgia. The deep southern states that include Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas, Louisiana.
Yes, sir.
Kentucky as well. You're talking about states.
Tennessee,
yes.
Arkansas.
Tennessee and Arkansas. Absolutely. Texas is in there. Texas is in
Florida.
Florida, for real. That's another one. Florida is a little different, but we're going to stay on with Georgia. Georgia flipping is very key and very crucial because it could be the blueprint to other southern states. What Queen Stacey Abrams did in galvanizing black voters and convincing other voters, Asian voters, because they have a strong Asian population, Latino population in Georgia, but of course the black population.
I'll kiss Stacey Abrams in her mouth right now.
I bet you would.
And I'm not a Democrat or a Republican.
He's just a man that kissed Stacey Abrams in the mouth.
But go ahead, bro.
But anyway.
Hi, Stacey.
Hey, Stacey, we love you. Want you on the show one day. Basically, the outcome of the Georgia election is very important. And it's not just that they won and how they won. Raphael Warnock, really quick. I know I'm on a tangent right now, but Raphael Warnock is the reverend at Dr. King's church.
And let me just say this, please. Mm-hmm. The reason why I brought up Stacey Abrams, and I respect that queen, is because if Stacey Abrams was not shined upon the universe, Joe Biden would not be the president.
No.
And the two Democrats that obviously just won the state of Georgia with respect to the Senate races, had this queen not been born, none of this would have happened, and Donald Trump would be having a victory, and Fox News will be saying right now, like they always say, all lives don't matter. I mean, all lives matter instead of black. Go ahead, brother. So, shout out to another shout out to that Queen Stacey Abrams, who stepped up to the plate and let America and let the world know how if you work hard and if you have connections and if you have intelligence and if you have that DNA in you and you stay focused, then anything is possible. And if Joe Biden does not make her the Secretary of State, at least offer, I'll say this. I don't mean to cut you off like an umbilical cord.
Yes, he does. But go ahead.
Okay. Georgie Porgy Puddin' Pie II, brothers and sisters, America's about symbolism. I don't care they put a melanated looking face up in these offices. How will it change the everyday life and struggle of melanated people? That's the question.
And that's what we got.
So the whole thing is this. Even George Bush, he put Colin Powell in there. He put Condoleezza Rice in there. Okay, because only 3 significant jobs that have power in the United States from an administrative perspective, they go as follows: Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, Attorney General.
Attorney General, yeah.
Barack Obama had 2 quote unquote African Americans, Eric Gardner, Loretta Lynch. Georgie Porgy Puddin' Pie, who slaughtered people of color, saying N-words, as they say.
Eric Holder. It was Eric Holder, by the way. It was Eric Holder.
Oh, my bad. Eric Holder.
What
did I say?
You said Eric Gardner, but it's okay.
I got Eric Gardner on my mind. You know why I got Eric Gardner on my mind?
It's understandable. It's understandable.
Because I got Tyrese. I got
You got your man.
I got my brother on my mind, man. It was just the cops that shot.
Yeah.
Tamir Rice, man.
Yeah.
They were exonerated.
Tamir Rice was out, and they're not going to press charges against the officers that shot Jacob Blake
and Tamir Rice.
And this is why policy and who we have in our.
How does this relate to the Senate?
This relates, okay, ladies and gentlemen, I know we went on this tangent for a minute. Where this relates to the Senate is right now we have 50-50 votes. The Senate's even with Kamala Harris being the tiebreaker. And after Eric is going to kiss Stacey Abrams, he's going to be dancing with Kamala Harris. And he really doesn't even like Kamala
Harris. No, I don't want
to
to dance with Kamala. I don't like her. She's let me let that go.
We're gonna let that go.
That's a three.
That's a
three strikes queen.
Yeah, but basically, what that means is that
she's 85%er. 85% do it, but that's another story.
That's another story.
I prefer her over the Klan.
He does.
And the Confederates.
And the Confederates and the Proud Boys. But basically, what this means is that the Senate can pass policies. The Senate can pass policies that can hold police officers who do unlawful acts right now to citizens, black melanated citizens. You can have stronger penalties, and if the state doesn't do what it needs to do federally, possibly there's a chance that federally there can be some repercussions.
Yes, sir.
And that's what's been missing. Just like here in the state of California,
talk to me, brother.
The people, which was sad, they voted for the bail bonds industry. They didn't. The cash bails was approved by the people, but the new chief of police, head of district attorney, the new top cop, basically. Reversed that, and he said, "Hey, we're not going to do more cash bails," and that's what voting does. That's what policy. That's how you get policy to change, and that's why Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff being in the Senate to be able to give Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, some leeway to have laws that mean something that's going to affect melanated people. Because right now, what you're seeing right now,
yes, sir,
is again folks with their unmelanated folks with a certain ilk,
yes, sir,
with their backs against the wall. Now you're going to hear me say this over and over again because we've seen it. We've seen this before.
Yes, sir.
But this time it seems a lot more real than the last. And the reason why that is because Trump is letting you know that 70 plus million people do not have the same empathy and care when a police officer kneels down on your neck. Eric always says they're complicit, and he's right, they're complicit.
Tamir Rice, rest in peace.
Tamir Rice, rest in peace. George Floyd, rest in peace. Breonna Taylor, rest in peace. Ahmaud Arbery.
And so many more.
Bottom line is, that's where politics come into play and policy comes into play. Last night was big for the Senate races in Georgia, for the South, for Black, for melanated people, for people all over the country that's been needing this and wanting this type of change.
When you look at it in a vacuum, when you look at it as a factual matter, when you look at it from an eye test perspective, knock it off, America's like Venezuela. Knock it off, America's like, I'm not with the, I don't subscribe to the normal narrative or labels of countries, dictators or third world countries, but the criticism that America has placed and exacerbated on other countries is the same. Right now you have senators and you have congressmen and women who are going on a record and are going to protest and object to the democratically elected, elected, official, constitutional voice of the American people via the victory of Joseph Biden and Kamala Harris. Your Ted Cruz's, your Marco Rubio's, your Lindsey Graham's.
Oh, just for clarification, Marco Rubio is not going to be a part of that.
He's a snake in the grass.
He's a snake in the grass, but he's not.
And he's the first one to take a COVID test. We're not going to go off.
It was going to be.
We're not going to go off script.
Ted Cruz, Mike Lee, Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee. You're going to have, I believe. No, I don't think Mike Lee of Utah. Okay. It was a good portion of it.
But out of the 50 states in America, Georgia, right now, as far as the Senate races, how important that is with respect to who will run the country from a policy perspective and who will be able to be the Senate leader, either the snake in the grass from Kentucky, Mitch McConnell, or the other guy from New York, Chuck Schumer. That's the bottom line. Now, Reverend Raphael Warnock has a history you can't compare it to anyone else's. From a political perspective, from a humanitarian perspective, from a reaching out perspective, a good brother, right? We all have a story. This man, for all you, everyone has, I'm pretty sure, man, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, a few quote unquote heroes in American history, Nat Turner,
absolutely,
etc., Toussaint Louverture. Anyway, this man who just will be a senator from Plantation, Georgia. As a matter of fact, the runoff vote is significant to voter suppression. But y'all look that up yourself. We don't have time to go off into that. But anyway, moving on to our dear brother, Reverend
Raphael Warnock.
Exactly. He has taken over the church of who?
Oh,
Martin Luther King
Dr.
Jr.
Dr. King, yeah.
We say the Reverend Raphael Warnock. Obviously, he's a reverend. He has a church. He has members. But what is significant and is impressive, and also just as impressive, this was Martin Luther King Jr.'s church. Mm-hmm. He's taken over that church. Mm-hmm. I've been watching this brother, man. I've been watching this newly elected senator from the time he announced until an hour ago. But I tell you what, brothers and sisters, melanated people, let's let this brother speak to himself. He had an ad when he was running. This is the ad that put Reverend Warnock over the top. If you want to know what he's about, this is the ad that made him the senator that will represent Georgia on Capitol Hill.
My daddy used to wake me up every morning at dawn. And the thing about dawn is that it's dark, but you're on the precipice of morning and new possibilities. We sing in church, great is thy faithfulness, morning by morning. Scripture tells us that weeping endures for the night, but joy comes in the morning. So I know it's been dark for a long time. You've lost loved ones. You've lost livelihoods. Don't you give up, because morning is on the way. Don't you cower down in some corner. You stand up and meet this American moment and take the same advice that my daddy gave me all those years ago. I don't know exactly what the day will bring, but I'm going to get up, put my shoes on. Morning is on the way.
My name is Ricky Dollison. I'm born and raised here in Poland, Worth County, Georgia. I'm a farmer. I love what I do. I was born a farmer, born into it. 3 generations of Dollisons have walked these woods, have farmed these lands before me. Back in the 60s and 70s, our parents wanted us to get an education because farming was tough, and it is.
Yes. Oh man. Seeds of Hope, incredible video. Raphael Warnock, a son of Georgia, he won by over 50,000 votes, which is important, and it's indicative of where I believe the New South, represented by melanated people, is going to go. And melanated people is going to take white folks, brown folks, everybody along for the ride, because they've been in the struggle for so long. And Stacey Abrams, the Queen did it for sure. And we're gonna get right into John Ossoff. So, DJ,
the other, like the brother was saying, John Ossoff, the other Democrat who won his Senate race.
Yes.
Against who?
David Perdue. Not Will Perdue. David Perdue.
Well, I gotta get checked. And we're gonna have another show about black brothers with a show together trying to check each other. We try to get it together. Because we all together.
Yeah.
Sexual slavery by ISIS that's exposed judicial corruption. And right now we have a crisis of corruption in American politics. And since we're live on Fox, let me take this opportunity to address directly the Fox audience. We have 2 United States senators in Georgia who have blatantly used their offices to enrich themselves. This is beyond partisanship. Here's the bottom line. Kelly Loeffler has been campaigning with a Klansman. Kelly Loeffler has been campaigning with a Klansman. And so she is stooping to these vicious personal attacks to distract from the fact that she's been campaigning with a former member of the Ku Klux Klan. We deserve better than that here in Georgia. And I want to encourage everybody to make a plan to vote on Tuesday. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ossoff, very much. All right, and we will send it back to you guys in New York.
Don't you look no more. Love without a limit. As melanated folks, may we continue to stick with each other like these snakes slithering through the grass who have all this power. Take it away, Mr. Harper.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Uptown Unplugged version of Melanated Politics. Love No Limit, Mary J. Blige and Crystal Williams. Don't Wake Me, I'm Dreaming. Don't
wake me up till my dream is complete.
So John Ossoff, that last plea to voters really worked because even though his race was tighter than Reverend Raphael Warnock's, I think he will end up. They called his race as Ossoff is the winner. I think at the end he will end up getting maybe 20,000 votes possibly.
Yes, sir.
So it's going to be a good win, a tight win for him. But at the same time, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, Georgia again. This is history because this is the Deep South. Where blacks have been lynched and white folks have been lynched for helping blacks.
Yes, sir.
And you have
John Brown.
You have Raphael Warnock, a black man, and John Ossoff, a Jewish man, win in Georgia.
That's you know what? I never thought that would happen. We've been fortunate enough to been doing this show for 2 years, and thank you again, brother.
Thank you.
You know what? I never thought, as a history buff, as someone that is addicted to facts and information, and history, and psychology, and emotions, and human interactions, and melanated DNA. As it relates to the current state of American politics meaning war without bloodshed. I never thought these two Democrats will win the state of Georgia. I never thought that. Now, before I was fortunate enough to come in here and rock the mic right with my dear brother, I was talking to some of my brother's homeboys, peers, conspiracy theorists. Let me explain something to you. There is no conspiracy. Let me tell you something. America's about symbolism. They're not going to put a black man to represent Georgia off a conspiracy. That was groundwork. That was a major, extreme get out the vote campaign. That was a relinquishment of power by the Republicans via mail-in voting. A lot of melanated folks had mail-in voting. A lot of the majority population in Georgia, they showed up. Trump, that snake in the grass, he told people the election is not rigged, so you can't have it both ways. That's why a lot of my relationships didn't work out, because they got tired of me saying they couldn't have it both ways. And anyway, let me get off my personal business.
Yeah, I ain't realized that.
But my point is this. my brothers, my sisters, all my melanated people in all 7 continents, pay attention to the political spectrum in the United States. Let's continue to pay attention to the adverse negative effects of the American people via the popular vote and the what college?
Electoral college.
Making certain that Joe Biden is recognized as the next president, and there has been some withdrawal like a dope fiend. And that's just it. Now, what will be the Trump legacy? I mean, you know, the snake in the grass, Donald Trump, he will leave a legacy like every other man or male, because there's a difference between a man and a male, and a woman and a female. In this particular case, what will be Donald Trump's legacy to the United States and to melanated communities? Mr. Harper, this question goes for, will it be birtherism? Will it be child separation? Will it be a Muslim ban? Will it be the comment he made about S-hole countries? Will it be his corruption? Will it be his scandals? Will it be his lies? Will it be the allegiance with the Proud Boys and the Nazis and the Tiki Torch, Charlottesville's, Jews will not replace us crowd? What will be this man's legacy? But I'll tell you this, brother, if you were to compare him to another president, you can put Woodrow Wilson out there, who made sure black folks who fought in the war, who were lynched in their uniforms when they came back to this country, didn't receive a dime. We can compare him to Thomas Jefferson and put Trump Omarosa. But we're going to compare him to someone he respects. He actually had a big meeting, a send-off. He commemorated the death, the life, and accomplishments of who?
Andrew Jackson.
Andrew Jackson. And before we put out this video of Andrew Jackson, let me express something very briefly. May I do this, my brother?
Please, go ahead. Go ahead.
To our brothers and sisters who don't live in the former 13 colonies of the continental U.S., which is the 48 lower, and then the other 2, Alaska and Hawaii. This country was taken at gunpoint by hook or crook via Andrew Jackson, by his own admission, Donald John Trump, his favorite president, who he has admired. So I'm not going to talk about the comparison. Without further ado, let's look at Andrew Jackson and the implementation of the Trail of Tears and compare that with the policies and everything you have seen and heard on television, on social media with Donald Trump. Let's go.
Push, push.
Andrew Jackson is a man who makes it very clear, even before he's the president, that he's going to move the Indians away.
Jackson was somebody who wanted to just forge ahead and say, it's an either or. Either people join us in the United States in our way of life and abandon their own way of life, or they get out of the way. And that became the foundational idea behind the removal policy.
Big voices in Congress voiced outrage over Jackson's proposal. His rival, Henry Clay, Senator Daniel Webster from Massachusetts, and Tennessee Congressman Davy Crockett. But for a president who would purge 5 of his 8 cabinet members and veto a dozen bills during his presidency, more than the preceding 6 presidents combined, the opinions of others mattered little.
When the Constitution was written, everybody expected that the Congress, the legislative branch, would be the most important. It became apparent that one person had a great deal more ability to shape things than what amounted to a committee of Congress. And presidents, but especially Andrew Jackson, Abraham Lincoln, they began to seize power away from Congress.
No one did more to strengthen the presidency than Jackson. The president was the one official elected by everyone, and therefore the president had a unique authority, a moral authority that transcended any other office.
Jackson rallied public support, pushing for newspaper articles and op-eds supporting Indian removal, leaving Congress no choice but to fall in line.
It would become formal policy under Andrew Jackson. It would be etched into law by Congress with the Indian Removal Act of 1830.
Or indigenous brothers and sisters who suffered through the Trail of Tears, through the Native American Removal Act, who were not just people you see with people that came from straight Africa, Native Americans. Our heart, our love, our dedication goes out to all of you brothers and sisters. And I'll tell you one thing, if you're not from America, try to hand a Native American a $20 bill with Andrew Jackson's name on it, then say, give me another denomination. Go ahead, Mr. Harper.
What makes that video so significant and how it relates to Donald Trump is a reflection of what we saw today with the people rioting, fighting. Basically, you saw American flags and Trump flags. Donald Trump's legacy is still being written, and to me, it's going to be the legacy of on so many different levels. But the one thing that's consistent is his basically misdirection, manipulating media, and spreading confusion. And you can start with on the national stage. I think when with the Exonerated Five, also known as the Central Park Five, when they were set free, and he put out a post ad in the New York Post saying they should go back to jail. Even I want to say he even said the death penalty, but I know it was at least go back to jail.
Yes, sir.
And then his run for presidency after Barack Obama roasted him at the media, the press dinner.
I recall.
And that's when the birtherism. that's when the birtherism started. But the thing that we all have to understand, as Eric talked about, the Trail of Tears,
and the Removal Act,
and the Removal Act, Native Americans helped,
and also the Homesteaders Act, which when we remove the Native Americans, any white folk from Europe can come over here and get automatic land grant. Look it up. It's called the
Homesteaders. You said it?
Homestead Act.
I think they made
that's the beginning of white privilege.
Right.
Go ahead, brother.
They made a movie. They touched on this a little bit in the movie with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman called Far and Away. Or they talked about the Homestead. They talked about that.
And then brothers and sisters return and then receive the GI Bill. But that's neat. But go ahead, my brother.
That goes to a whole nother conversation.
Go ahead with the Trump legacy.
But the Native Americans voted voted in large margins in Arizona.
Yes.
Which helped Joe Biden win.
Yes, sir.
Win the presidency. Donald Trump's legacy, and it's very, very, very important for people to understand.
What's his legacy, brother?
His legacy is not over yet, but his legacy is still being written. His legacy is going to be written off of as far as hate, as far as division, as far as the epitome of white fragility. White male fragility in a lot of ways. I got to just put white female fragility in there too.
Talk about it.
The reaction to a country that is not reflective of the America that he and so many others hold on to.
This is the last dance, man. Melanated people are 75% of people on Earth. If you have $1 in your pocket, go to the store and get 4 quarters. Keep 3. That's melanated people. Give away 1. That's non-melanated people. They have the power because they're together. We don't have the power because we are not together, and we judge each other and we hold each other at a higher standard than we hold everyone else. And Donald Trump is an excuse of the foundation of America. Now, these people are not these Karens on television, as my brother just referred to. The people that refuse to wear a mask, Trump supporters, because they never had anyone tell them what to do and they had to do it. These people are scared because they have the 1 quarter. And the melanated people have the 3 quarters. They have the Senate. They don't have the Senate no more. They had the presidency. They don't have the presidency no more. They have the Congress. They don't have the Congress anymore. They had the minds and the brains and the souls of the American people through the regurgitation of conditioning, brainwashing, and program. One thing about America, we're not taught in America, y'all. We are conditioned and programmed. The Trump legacy is comparable to Andrew Jackson. We didn't put the Andrew Jackson video on there because we just laugh and joke and kiki. This is real. And if you forget where you came from, you will have no indication of the morality and the integrity you are supposed to have going into the future.
One last thing I want to say is what's happening right now in America. It isn't new.
Yes, sir.
But what is happening is that it's unfolding in real time.
Yes.
This is a transition of. They call this time when one president leaves, another president goes in, is a transition of power. This is a transition of culture. And that's why this is such a volatile time in the U.S. And it's just everybody stay tuned. We're going to bring it to you every time here on Melanated Politics. And before we go, I again want to thank our super producer, Sheena, for having our support. And we're going to be bringing in the new year with some more Melanated Politics here on Morris Medias. We always want to also thank the poetess for being who she is. OGP for being who she is and giving us support and sticking with us and putting up with us and all this good stuff. And we're ready for 2021.
And rest in peace, 2020. The great actress Paula Kelly in the classic 1993, based on the Sam Greenlee novel. Kelly died
recently
at the age of 77.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Also, Lil Richard, Kool and the Gang's Ronnie Bell, just to name a few.
Chadwick Boseman in 2020.
Our dear brother
T'Challa.
But both love and life both have 4 letters, but they're 2 different things altogether. But I met many ladies in my day, but just like the wind, they all blown away. Rest in peace, Ecstasy from Houdini.
See the love
I could have just said his name, but I had to do that. One love. You're lucky just to have just one.
Just real quick, the first hip hop tape I ever bought. The first hip hop tape I ever bought was a Houdini tape. The first video, not the first video I saw, but the video that drew me in.
The L. We'll go keep talking.
Was Funky Beat.
And the O.
Yeah.
And the V. And the V.
Yes. Yes. And the E.
You know what? I kind of look like Jaleel.
Okay.
And you might look like Ecstasy a little bit, bro.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
No, it's time to go, man. No, it's not time to go, man.
on that note.
5 minutes of funk. This ain't no junk.
Man, Miss Houdini, so much.
Ecstasy, rest in peace.
Ecstasy, rest in peace.
You know, when my dad retired from the military, and my grandmother, God bless her soul, rest in peace, we moved to the east side of Compton. And I remember them brothers playing Houdini, man. That's how I knew every word to One Love. 5 Minutes of Funk. To all our melanated brothers and sisters, we don't say rest in peace, we say rest in power. Okay? And all my brothers, there's been more killings and murders in Los Angeles in 2020 than in years past, recent years past. So what I would like to say to my brothers out here in these streets that claim you can't let it go,
let it go,
because somebody did something to your folks,
let it go.
Read a history book.
Yeah.
We can never do to each other what they've done to us.
That's right.
If you still out here and you got animosity and beef with your folks, man, save us all some time. Sign up for the Proud Boys, brother. Join the Klan if you want to keep killing black men. We done with that, bro. We trying to do business with each other. We trying to resurrect the gods and the goddesses from the Nile Valley. We're not trying to have another generation in and out of prison, going to funerals, sitting up in wheelchairs. I'm going to that right now when I get off the mic. This is real, y'all. We got to check ourselves first. We call it something. It's called cleaning up our own backyard. We call the show Melanated Politics for a reason. We don't need suntan lotion because we have melanin. It's the essence of color. Politics is the essence. Politics is war without bloodshed. So I'm not into politics. Yes, you are. You just don't know it. You with war without bloodshed because it's a war that's been declared on you. The war was declared on us when the first missionaries came over here and said, read this Bible. And you ended up on a ship. Rolling in my own leftover. When I roll over on somebody else. Can't trust that piece of Chuck D. Can't trust this.
Yeah, Chuck D's alive, by the way. Chuck D's alive.
I know y'all need me to wrap it up like a burrito. But this is not a Latin restaurant. It's Morris Media. Subscribe, tune in. For David Harper. For our producer.
Yes.
Sheena Lester.
Yes.
For all our brothers that are heart to heart. Man to man.
Man to man.
Melanated to melanated. Keep tuning in, y'all. We usually on Sundays from 10:30 to 11:30. But with so many shenanigans going on in Washington, D.C., 2021, we need to forgive each other. We need to reunite. We need to separate ourselves from people that hate their own skin, and we're going to keep it pushing.
Yes, indeed.
2 words before we out. Melanated politics. We're out.
Peace.